brace yourself for some incoming movie quotes. Kim here with some of the greatest movies ever made. That's right, my top 10 favorite Christmas movies. If you're new here, make sure you subscribe and click the bell icon so you don't miss any of the Merry Kimstmas videos I'm making for Vlogmas. And now we will proceed to my favorite Christmas movies. I have 2 honorable mentions that I need to talk about very quickly before we really dive into the top 10. These are the movies that are in a weird holiday gray area. I really like them, but they don't quite put me in the Christmas spirit like the others do. Honorable mention number 1 is The Nightmare Before Christmas. Some argue this is a Halloween movie, others argue it is a Christmas movie. I argue that it is good September through January. While this movie is magic in itself, and its filmmaking, and its storytelling, and its animation, it doesn't quite have the Christmas magic, although I really do love it. The other honorable mention I want to talk about is Die Hard. I count Die Hard as a Christmas movie, however, it's often debated. For me, this movie is highly entertaining and great to watch and exciting and classic in many ways, but it doesn't really give me that holly jolly feeling. And now for my countdown of the best Christmas movies ever. Coming in at number 10 is The Santa Claus, the classic with Tim Allen where Santa falls off the roof and he then becomes Santa Claus. I may just love this movie because becoming Santa Claus is sort of what I want my retirement plan to be. The guy gets to just eat cookies and make presents for kids and hang out with super cool elves and reindeer, and then he works one night out of the year and everyone loves him. If that's not a fantastic life goal, then I don't know what is. I grew up on this Christmas movie. I love it so much. This movie came out in theaters right when I was its perfect target audience. Kid, Christmas, 90s, fun, just magic, wonderful Christmas cheer. It's got a good Christmas message, it's funny, it's entertaining, win. Coming in at number 9 is The Holiday. This movie is about 2 women who swap houses for the Christmas holiday. One fancy LA lady in teeny tiny English cottage, small town British woman in big bad fancy Orange County, California. Orange County? Or there's an orange tree. Of course, they meet gentlemen, friends. These women are finding themselves in new ways, and it's so just delightful, romantic comedy, holiday goodness. My number 8 Christmas movie is Love Actually. This would actually be up higher on my list, however, I feel like some of the characters do some just unforgivable things, so I had to knock it down a few pegs, but I still really love it. I hate Uncle Jamie. This is one of the movies that I really quote randomly and out of context all the time. 8 is a lot of legs, David. I actually named my ukulele David after that exact movie line. There's another movie line I really love too, but I'm not going to say it because I'm advertiser friendly. This is an ensemble cast movie that follows many different storylines that interweave and kind of come together at the end, and it's just got so many like funny things happening and has so many heartwarming things happening, but then it also has a lot of like real life things happening, and I think that's one of the reasons I really love it, is because yes, Christmas is this big, huge, extra special time that gets a lot of attention, but real life still goes on, and I love how this movie sort of plays in the stories of real life with the special Christmasness. I just love it. It's got some great stories and some great characters, and for me, it is incredibly quotable, so yay. Number 7 is Elf. Yes, the one with what's his face? That guy, actor, name, person. Will Ferrell. I knew I'd get there. I went into this movie very skeptical. I did not expect to just fall in love with it. Will Ferrell's not my favorite actor. He's fine. He's just not my go-to guy. And when I saw he was in it and knowing his past work, I just was like, what? And then I saw it and absolutely adored it. It is so funny and it is so adorable and it is just so charming. And I know I've said charming about every movie, but this one just is so freaking delightful and charming. So good. So funny, so quotable, great story. If you don't know, Elf is the story of Buddy, and he was raised as one of Santa's elves, but is indeed just regular human person, and he goes to New York City to try to find his father, and of course, North Pole elf in New York City, hijinks ensue. It has so much Christmas spirit. Laugh until you cry, funny, great for the whole family. Duh. They did such a good job with this movie. I just love it. The best way to spread Christmas cheer is singing loud for all to hear. My number 6 movie is A Christmas Story. This is 100% a classic. I grew up on this movie. Honestly, didn't really like it much until I was about in high school and really sat down and watched it and understood why it was so funny. Oh, fudge. This movie is my childhood, which is funny because I didn't like it as a young child until I was much older, and then I understood, and then it was like I loved it even more because I spent all those years hating it. You'll shoot your eye out. Oh my gosh, it's so funny. This is the story about a kid growing up in like, what is it, the 60s? Maybe? The 70s? The 60s. I don't know. Old. Okay, that's rude to say because I know people who grew up then. Just the not now time. The kid wants a Red Ryder BB gun, everybody tells him he's gonna shoot his eye out, and it's this kid dealing with the whole Christmas season and what it means for a kid. And I think that's why this movie is so great, is because Christmas means different things to grown-ups than it does to kids. To kids, Christmas is the agony and excitement of waiting for Christmas morning, the kind of greed that goes with it, a really hopeful and exciting time for a child. Good storytelling. This is just good storytelling, honestly. I cheated a little bit with my number 5 pick because it's 2 movies, but I'm counting it as one because I didn't want to do my top 11 Christmas favorites. That just sounded weird, so we did top 10 and we made these a unit because for Merry Kimsmas, we do what we want. Number 5 is Home Alone and Home Alone 2. Home Alone 3 does not exist, so don't even bring it up. Every kid wanted to be Kevin McAllister, even though he's sort of a little bit of a demon child. But I digress. Again, if you don't know, this is about Kevin who ends up home alone during Christmas. His family leaves on vacation and he's accidentally left behind in the house in the first movie, and in the second movie, he ends up on the wrong plane and ends up in New York City by himself. 2 burglars decide they want to rob his house, and he takes care of it. So clever and so witty, and just a smart movie that has really interesting characters and great storytelling, and just it's fun and hilarious. This is another movie that is in every kid's head. The filmmakers just understood children and their sort of mindset to things, and I love the message of it at the end about your family and how important they are and your loved ones, and I just love the instant Christmas spirit I'm in whenever I hear Home Alone music, see clips, or even Macaulay Culkin. It's like, Home Alone. Ah! My number 4 movie is The Family Stone. This is the movie with Sarah Jessica Parker and Dylan McDermott? Is that the guy's name? And Diane Keaton and the guy from Coach, one of the Wilson brothers, and the chick from Mean Girls. I should do entertainment news. This movie is guaranteed to make me weep all the time. Just, there are tears and the crying. But it's so good, and it has such a cool message, and it's another movie that's just really well made, I feel like. It is not your average Christmas movie. In the cliche way, it's guy brings girl home to meet family, he wants to propose, family drama, Christmas trees and Christmas foods and Christmas activities. It kind of ticks all of those boxes, but it also has such a really cool story. I just really like the story, and I liked how the love stories happened in it. It's also another one kind of like Love Actually, where real life still goes on during the Christmas season because the family is dealing with something that's very sad. It has so many cool things about it. It's another one with a good message, and it just, like I said, it makes me cry all the time, and it's heartwarming, and it's very real in a way, and I think that's why I really like it, is because it has this realness to it. Phenomenal. I just love it. My number 3 movie is White Christmas. I love this movie for many reasons. I loved it for a really long time, and then I was cast in the musical and I got to play Judy, which is like a literal dream role for me. Vera Ellen is something else in this movie. Her legs and her dancing and her just talent and everythingness that I just cannot handle. Are we okay? Bump the camera. But after playing Judy, I have a newfound love for this movie and everything about it. This is my annual Christmas tree movie. This is the movie every single year for, oh man, going on a decade now, I'm sure, that plays while I decorate my Christmas tree. I've got it on in the background. It's a little bit of a game to see if I can decorate an entire tree with one play. I usually have to start it again. Oh well. But you know, I'm kind of meticulous about my Christmas trees. You've seen that. This movie has so many great things going for it. It's such like classical musical sort of movie that I absolutely adore. Bing Crosby is phenomenal, so is Rosemary Clooney, and Danny Kaye is just hilarious and wonderful, and it's funny and it's charming. This is another one that instantly makes me cry when General Waverly walks down the stairs and his granddaughter sees him in his uniform. I'm crying. And then he walks in the room and everyone claps and I'm crying harder. And then the army unit comes out in their uniform singing "We Love Him, We'll Follow the Old Man." And then I'm like on the floor, openly sobbing, gasping for breath. Oh, it's just so good. And the message is so beautiful and it's just so much fun and so classic. It's just classic. I just will always, 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 always love this movie, and I will always, always, always decorate my Christmas trees to White Christmas. Number 2 is one that may surprise you, but then if you know anything about me, it probably won't surprise you at all. It is Mickey's Christmas Carol. This is my favorite rendition of A Christmas Carol. This is the one I grew up on. They used to show it on TV when I was really little, like 4, 5, 6 years old, and it's only like 20 minutes long or something, but it is so precious to me. I just love it so much. Scrooge McDuck is Ebenezer Scrooge and Mickey is Bob Cratchit. I just really, really love it, like so hard. And I love all of the different characters that come in. I love that Jiminy Cricket is the ghost of Christmas Past. That's like my favorite thing. I just love everything about it. I thought it was so fun, and I thought it got the message of A Christmas Carol across so beautifully. I have yet to find a Christmas Carol I like more than this version, and not enough people talk about it. It's so good. And finally, my number 1 favorite Christmas movie, Meet Me in St. Louis, the beautiful movie with Judy Garland. Yes, I will acknowledge that this is kind of a year-long movie because it takes place over the course of an entire year and it has all the seasons and only a chunk of it is Christmas, but the chunk that is Christmas is magical. So it gets to be at the top of the list because I've yet to find a movie that makes me feel better than this movie. The scene towards the end of the movie when Judy Garland is in the gorgeous red dress with the puffy sleeves, and she's dancing with her grandfather at the Christmas ball, and it's their last year, and be still my heart. I can't even talk about it properly, like without getting a little like verklempt. A lot like White Christmas, this movie is just so classic for me. Like it ticks all the boxes for Christmas feelings and it makes me insanely happy, and I will never say no to watching this movie. This movie represents 2 things for me. First of all, it represents my grandpa, because when her grandpa takes her to the Christmas ball when her date can't get his tuxedo and so she can't go, and her grandpa says, "Well, that's ridiculous, I'll take you." And she says, "That's right, I'm going to go with the handsomest man I know." Just such a great grandpa, and it just reminds me of my own because my first date was with my grandpa and he took me to a school dance thing that we had for fathers and daughters, and my grandpa took me, and it just was wonderful. It just makes me so happy, and so it reminds me of that. This movie also reminds me of my grandmother. She was the one who first introduced me to this movie, and we used to curl up under the blankets in her big giant king-size brass bed and sip hot cocoa and watch this movie and laugh at Tootie and sing "Ding Ding Ding Goes the Trolley" and just gush over Judy Garland's red dress in the Christmas dance scene. And it just represents so much to me. Like, this movie means my grandma and grandpa, and that's really important to me, so I'm always gonna love this movie. Pure Christmas magic. Those are my current top 10 favorite Christmas movies. Yes, I said current because, well, the list fluctuates and changes, and sometimes movies are taken off and others are added in. However, Meet Me in St. Louis always has the number 1 spot. Be sure to share this video so others can find some Christmas cheer. Clickety-click the share button down there and send it off to your preferred social media. And consider subscribing to this YouTube channel if you haven't already. I'm here for a breath of fresh air, some merriment, and sometimes a kick in the pants. Thanks for joining me in another episode of Merry Kimstmas.